Hey everyone, Matt Dollinger here for SI.com, here in New York City with Nike basketball designer Leo Chang, who is unveiling today the new KYRIE 1, Kyrie Irving's first signature shoe. Leo, it's an amazing shoe. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, man. It's a pleasure working on Kyrie's first shoe. Really wanted to capture his style of play and the flavor that he brings. So there's a lot of cool things that we did, and a lot of it came from watching him play. And when we see him moving and cutting and changing direction a lot, like he's so quick and so fast, and just when we slow down that tape and watch, like, you actually see his foot sometimes literally like this, and where the upper is touching the ground. And so we were like, that's a problem that we need to solve. And make sure that when he's making those fast movements, there's no skidding out because he's on a midsole or he's on the upper, you know. And so stuff like that really drove like this idea, and it's a simple idea. It's bringing traction more 360 degrees around the front.
It totally makes sense for his game. Yeah, absolutely. It custom fits him, and it seems like you guys worked for a really long time on the shoe, getting it exactly right. What was it like working with Kyrie versus some of the other athletes you've worked with?
You know, I've had interactions with all of our signature guys at some point, and they're all really great people, and they all bring something a little bit different, you know. And I think what was awesome about Kyrie was that it's just straight off the bat, too. He was very open and just willing to talk about anything with us, and the chemistry between him and his dad was awesome too, because those two were just bouncing stories off each other just from the first day, and that was really cool, and just a moment that like you don't get every day. And so he's been very vocal just straight off the bat. He wasn't afraid to hide his opinion or anything. He was like, hey, this is my shoe, this is my dream, this is my moment. And so he had to really voice it, and so that was awesome. And just appreciated his honesty with that,
Definitely. You know, Kyrie told us he worked a lot over like 18 months working on this shoe, and he prototyped and tested it. What was some of the feedback he gave you and some of the tweaks you maybe made towards the end?
He kind of liked it straight off the bat, It was a good thing, Literally the first time we showed him the design, we had even some rough prototypes for him to even try on. And he was just like kind of putting it on. He was like, yeah, I like the fit. That was something that he really wanted to make sure that the forefoot of the shoe really locked him in. Because when he's making all those fast, quick moves, he doesn't want to be sliding around and losing seconds making those moves. So that kind of stuff was really important to him, that he communicated to us. And then just even down to the collar height. He's played in lows and he's played in highs, and kind of felt like meeting in the middle was kind of a nice place for his collar height.
Is there like one design or one feature maybe that you were like particularly excited to finally get to like put into a shoe, or anything that's kind of like new that you were particularly excited about the Kyrie 1?
There's a fun story in here that I don't think he expected us to ever incorporate, which was like this these two fingers within this hyperfuse upper. And so one, we need that as an additional layer in there to kind of give you that lockdown in there. But then from a storytelling standpoint, he had told us a story with his dad in the room that whenever he was bad, or his grades were dropping, or his dad just had enough of him, he would send him to his room, and he'd call it his dungeon, right? And one of the things that his dad made him do was actually stand against the wall with two fingers against the wall, like leaning against the wall, right?
Yeah.
And it was funny because I don't know what the actual truth was, but he was like, man, my dad made me do that for like 2 hours. And his dad was like, no, it was like 2 minutes, come on. And so the idea of like, getting sent to the dungeon, lockdown, and the idea that, that's part of the lockdown of front was kind of a fun story. And when I told him, hey, you remember that story you told us? We kind of found a way to kind of subliminally put it into the shoe,
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun. Kind of a fun story,
Yeah, that's definitely.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you can tell us? I know you can't give away too much, but anything that Nike basketball is doing in the future you're particularly excited about that we might be seeing sooner than later?
I think what's exciting is that he's carving out a whole another level of problem solving for us to get after with his style play, and really having this be the sharp point of that. I think so. You're going to see us innovate around him, problem solve around that, the way he plays, and I think it's going to be really fun.
Can't wait to watch Kyrie playing him. Can't wait to see what you've got next for us. So Leo, thanks so much for joining us.